Hi guys, welcome back to My Dank Dog. Just as a reminder, I live in Canada. It's been legal here since 2018. This grow has turned into a saga. It was leaning towards the dark side, but I've had to use all of my training, some good LST, and I've managed to bring it back into a good order. We're talking about the Skywalker OG in the VGrow. This is episode 3. Let's get into it. Big shout out to Vivosun for sponsoring the channel, and you guys can save 20% off of VGrow at Vivosun.com and Amazon stores with my promo code MDDVGrow. That's MDDVGrow, and the link is in the description below. Also guys, you can save 15% off at Vivosun.com and Amazon stores with my promo code MyDankDog. That's my promo code MyDankDog, and the link is in the description below. Big shout out to all my new followers at ShroomUp. I do appreciate it. And if you guys are into any micro grows, check out the links below. All right, we've got a lot to go over in this episode. We've got some extreme training. We got GrowCam time-lapse update, another VGrow and another bean to go over. And I've got more giveaways, including some AeroBase Grow Bags and a drip irrigation. Let's start with the GrowCam time-lapse footage. This is amazing to watch. It's so hypnotic. It's fantastic. It's also just a great way to check in on your plants. So really enjoying that GrowCam. The Vivosun app and the Grow Pilot had a firmware update recently that allows your circulation fan to now feature natural wind levels for improved airflow simulation, and also an addition to the dual USB ports 1 and 2, so you can have better control over them and put them on independent schedules. So check that out. Make sure your firmware is up to date. All right, let's get into the grow. This is 8 weeks, 1 week after flipping to 12-12 light schedule. And as you can see, she is definitely a female, which makes me feel a lot better because I was a little bit worried whether I was going to have a stretchy male plant in here and having to start again. She is at maximum height, as you can see, so the stretch is still going on, so I'm a little bit concerned. I feel as if I'm going to have to do something drastic to get myself a little bit more extra space here. Now, I bought these beans as auto flowers, and obviously they turned out to be photo periods, so when I flipped at 6.5 weeks, I got quite a big stretch. I'm currently on 100% intensity for the light, and it's now on the flowering spectrum, so all is good. I'm having to use the trellis at the top for max height to kind of restrain her stretch a little bit, but I'm really trying hard to think what I'm going to do to kind of keep her under control. I'm currently doing the basic training using the trellis at over height, which is not ideal, guys, as you can see, because she's still stretching and there's no more space above. So I'm basically really going to have to use some good thinking here and training. Now, as you can see, she's already starting to push up on the trellis here as well. So I'm going to have to do this pretty quickly in the next couple of days. I'm not sure whether I'm going to top her. I really don't want to cut off these top buds here. And also it's a little bit late in the game to think about topping, but I do have a problem on my hand. As you can see, this is 1 week of flower. She's probably going to stretch at least another probably 3, 4, 5 inches. I'm not really sure, but a lot. And that would take her right up to the light. So yeah, I'm panicking a little bit right now as I'm looking in here because I don't want to start again, and I want to make sure that I can basically get this plant in the VGrow right through to completion. But yeah, she is proving to be a pain in the butt. Now, guys, this has happened to me before. Autoflower beans bought in good faith, and they've turned out to be photo periods. It's not cool. It screws up your grow. It screws up your scheduling. It screws up quite a lot of things. So I've had a lot of messages on Instagram saying this has happened to a few people from really reputable seed banks and breeders as well. So it seems to be a common issue. It's not cool, but it's something that I'm definitely gonna have to deal with right now. Her buds are looking nice though, so I guess that's a good thing. It's something that I'm just going to have to kind of get along with. It did happen to me on my Bruce Banner. Now I bought a pack of Bruce Banner auto flowers and they turned out it was a mixed bag. Some were auto flowers and some were photo periods. So I'm kind of used to this. I caught it in good time. I think if I'd left it another week or so, I'd be really screwed. I don't know, guys. At this point in time, my only options is to remove the water well at the bottom here to create some extra space, maybe 3 inches. So I think that's probably going to be my first port of call. As you can see in there, that's the break there. I don't know if you can see the tape at the back, but that looks like it's healed really nicely. We're going to take that tape off and have a look at that. I'm taking some side branches off here because there's basically no space in here. As you can see, she's stretched a lot. The lollipopping is good, but these lower branches here, they're not going to get any light, and the buds on these lower branches would just turn out to be laugh and fluffy. So I definitely need more height. So I'm going to remove this water well here, the reservoir at the bottom, and that's probably going to give me an extra 3 inches, which hopefully is going to take me under height. But I suspect she's going to carry on stretching. As you can see, that's probably what I'm going to gain by removing the reservoir. But yeah, I suspect she's still going to carry on stretching. So, you know, I guess we'll see how it goes. This is the roots on the bottom of the pot. As you can see, they haven't actually grown through into the reservoir like it did on my first VGrow. If we take a look in here, the reservoir is actually still pretty clean as well, and there's no roots in here. So the roots are actually growing different than on my first grow. The roots had already kind of stretched through the pot, through the laces and into the reservoir. So I cleaned everything out. I'm going to keep the trellis at the top here. I've removed the reservoir. This is going to give me those extra 3 inches, as you can see. And I'm basically going to remove all of the drip irrigation and bottom feeder and top feeder. I can still feed her from the bottom using that reservoir, but I suspect she's going to stretch a little bit more. So I'm probably going to have to do a little bit more kind of LST using this trellis net here. Make sure that the tops of the plant are bent and moved and trained daily. I don't want to damage these buds because obviously they're going to be the main colas here. So still a little bit paranoid and nervous, but you know, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to carry on. Removed the tape and she healed nicely, but you can actually see how bad that break was. It was definitely like a 80 or 90% break, but I managed to tape her up immediately and she grew back and healed, and the top of the plant is showing buds. So everything is pretty good. She's started to get a little bit of a twinge of a smell, nothing too drastic at the moment, but I'm sure that's going to get worse. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think this is even a Skywalker? I'm just going to refer to it as the unknown Jedi because it doesn't look anything like the auto flower Skywalker OG that I grew. It looks like a completely different plant. So I'm just going to refer to this as the unknown Jedi. Now I've got it leveled off, and as you can see, the buds pop through that trellis literally every day and are pushing it up. So yeah, I suspect I'm going to have to do something even more drastic. I really don't want to top, but I'm basically thinking right now I might have to repot her and gain another 3 or 4 inches by cutting the roots in half. Really racking my brain at this point in time. As you can see, after 1.5 weeks of flower, she's really starting to stretch. She's probably, if I didn't have the trellis here, she would probably be, I would say, like 1 inch or 2 inches over height. And so I really need to do something drastic. I've decided that I'm going to cut the roots. I'm basically going to repot her and cut the roots if she carries on stretching. This is how I'm bottom feeding her. So I'm still using the reservoir, and I'm also top feeding as well. Probably going to start to use my other spray watering device with the long pointy nozzle to get at the back here, but I can still bottom feed her and she's still thirsty, so she's doing well. That's a huge amount of lollipopping there. I have noticed that the humidity is down. Now I don't have any extra fans going on in here. I'm just using the built-in air circulation, and I'm only using one USB port, and that's for the grow cam. Look at that, guys. You can see the trellis is just being pushed up and pushed up. So she is very, very stretchy. Yeah, I'm a little bit peeved with the seed bank for their kind of like quality control. I've basically decided to repot her and cut the roots. So I'm probably going to cut at least 3 or 4 inches off the bottom of the potting here. I was thinking about doing it 50%, but that might have been a little bit more of a shock to the plant, and I don't want to cut too many of the roots off. I want it to, you know, stay healthy and have a good chance of growing back. So we're going to do about 1/4 of the roots here. I'm actually going to have to cut this fabric pot open and then repot the bud trainer pot on the right hand side. So I basically cut her open. I think we're going to be good. I've actually cut roots before on my cup grows, and again guys, my cup grows have taught me the most just how kind of harsh and drastic you can be with these plants. So I'm basically going to cut this cake here, 25% off the bottom. Now I'm going to scoop that cocoa up and put it back on top of the repot. Once I put her in her new pot, I'm going to break this up, and I'm not going to waste it. I'm just going to repot it on top of the new potting. As you can see, the roots went right the way down to the bottom of the pot and has started to grow through. Now I managed to save myself, I know, 3 or 4 inches there on top. As you can see, the space in the pot, I'm just going to fill that up with the bottom of the roots that I chopped off. She's just under over height. I'll trim those extra leaves off there and she'll be probably just 1 inch under over height. I suspect she's going to stretch a little bit more again. Here is the cocoa. I'm just going to crunch that up and put it on top of the pot here and refill her. And then I'm going to be top feeding her by hand, and then obviously using that reservoir at the bottom to bottom feed her too. So hopefully, fingers crossed guys, I've done enough to kind of keep her under height. If push comes to shove, I'll repot her again and make sure that I complete the grow in this VGrow. There's not much I could have done about this, guys. If I'd have known she was a photo period from the beginning, I probably would have flipped her at least a week, maybe 2 weeks prior. So she's looking good. She's looking healthy. I'm giving her that trim at the top. As you can see, her buds are actually about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches under over height. And then those leaves that are stretching up are the ones that are taking her over height. So I've probably got about 1 inch or 2 before I get over height again. So fingers crossed, guys. She's still kind of young into her flower. As you can see, we're getting about 1.5 to 2 weeks of flower here. So fingers crossed, guys, that I've done enough. But again, I'll just cut her again and put it in another pot if I need to. She's definitely going to stay and grow inside the VGrow. Her flowers are looking good. I'm happy about that. She started to smell. Nothing too heavy. It's definitely a different plant entirely to the auto that I got in the same pack. Different smell, different structure to the plant. Not an auto, but she is looking nice. So guys, as I said, I'm just going to refer to this as the Unknown Jedi. I actually don't know whether it's a Skywalker OG anymore. I don't know what it is. I won't be using the breeder or seed bank again. I've messaged them. I'll wait to see what they say back. Now, when this happened with another seed bank and breeder, they sent me a bunch of new beans. So this is 2.5 weeks of flower. As you can see, she's starting to kind of thicken up right now. Her stretch seems to have slowed down. The leaves there are reaching up towards the lights, but her buds are either just on over height or maybe 1 centimeter over. This has definitely been a saga, guys. I've used a lot of the learnings from how drastic you can be with the plants from the cup grows. So try a cup grow, try a couple of cup grows. You'll realize just how kind of versatile these plants are. I'm going to give her another defoliation here and a little bit more training at the top. Now this is just me pulling the branches to the side. I'm probably saving maybe a couple of centimeters, maybe an inch here, just pulling these ones out from the center to the sides. So, and the defoliation is hopefully going to bring some of those lower bud sites up to stretch up towards the light. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good right now. She's definitely slowed down with the stretch and she started to pack on a little bit of weight. 2.5 weeks of flower. She's looking great. Kind of pleased. Has been, it's kind of stressful, especially when you're editing videos and you know you're gonna post them for all of you guys to see. You don't really want to fail, but you also want to show what you have to go through. It's different with every plant. There's definitely a lot to learn on every single plant that I've grown. Different issues, but you also start to have crossovers as well. So if I hadn't had this happen to me before with the Bruce banner, I wouldn't have spotted it in time. And if I hadn't, as I said, done a lot of these cup grows, including cutting the roots, you know, everything starts to build up with more grows. So you only get wiser. And it's good that I can share these kind of, you know, challenges and mistakes or just basically solutions with you guys as well. So hopefully you can spot them sooner too. So I'm feeling a little bit better. The bottom feeding's going well. The top feeding is still a little bit awkward here. So I'm going to switch over to my kind of long nozzled sprayer moving forward just to make sure that I can give her a good kind of watering at the back. This is 3 weeks of flower. She's looking good. She's definitely stretched a little bit more, but it's totally slowed down. I'm probably going to have to chop a few of these kind of like lower little larvae nug sites off, and obviously some of the branches at the bottom. I did notice after 3 weeks there was a little bit of rust spotting here, so I'm probably going to add some CalMag, and also I'm going to add some bloom boosters in here as well. I'm going to add some advanced nutrient bloom boosters, but I wasn't sure whether that was light burn or not because it was over height and pretty close to the light. I'm going to be adding some SensiCal CalMag from Advanced Nutrients, as well as some rhino skin, plus some bud candy. And I like to use bud candy in conjunction with Big Bud. I'm going to be adding this to the Vivosun Nutrients Base A and Base B in this long nozzled compression sprayer that allows me to get right in there to the back of these stalks. We'll see if it fixes it over the next couple of days. In general, she's looking pretty good. She started to pack on some weight. There's definitely a stronger smell to her now when I open the grow box, but overall I'm kind of starting to feel a little bit more relaxed. She's looking good. The stretch has slowed down. This is 4 weeks of flower and you can see she's starting to get wider, not taller. The smells definitely increased, but I haven't had any need to replace the odor shield. No smell kind of outside of the grow box at the moment, but definitely a smell when I open her and check her. You can see she's starting to thicken out and she's looking nice and healthy. The bloom boosters are definitely going to play a bigger role in fattening up her buds. Overall, I'm feeling a lot better, guys. I'm more confident that she's going to thicken up right now. The main thing that I've noticed with all of this lollipopping and all of the kind of training that I've done, removing the reservoir and cutting this, is that the humidity is almost ideal. It's sitting at around 55-60%. Now, a lot of you guys said that you've had problems with the humidity on your photo periods, especially when the lights go off as well. I haven't had any of that, and I feel as if it might be because I've moved that water reservoir at the bottom and done such drastic lollipopping, but there's no extra fans in here. I'm going to cut some of these bottom fluff buds off right now. We're on 4 weeks of flowers still, but they're only going to grow into kind of like larvae bits. So I gave her another defoliation. It's crazy just to think how much I've chopped off of this lady, and look how she's grown back nice and healthy. looking good. It's amazing just how tough these plants are realistically. But yeah, my panic is starting to subside. As you can see, she's looking healthy. 4 weeks of flower. She's starting to get a few trikes on her there as well. And some of the pistils are starting to change color to orange as well. So this saga is going to play out into a much more relaxed grow, or fingers crossed it is. She's beautiful, isn't she, actually? So yeah, pretty happy. A lot of work, a lot of kind of quick thinking and hard decision making has gone into this lady to keep her under height and growing in the past 4 weeks. But let's move on. You guys may have seen in my previous videos, I've got some AeroBase Grow Bag samples to give away. I've got one 3x 3 gallon pack and one 3x 5 gallon pack to give away on YouTube. And I've also got one 3x 3 gallon pack and one 3x 5 gallon pack to give away on Instagram as well. So double your chances, guys, and go over to my Instagram page at mydankdog and also enter there as well. I'm going to be announcing the recipients on April 1st. No, it's not a joke. So stay tuned for that. And then also, guys, I've got one other giveaway. I've got a spare FlexFeed for the VGrow. This is specifically a drip irrigation for the VGrow. So if you have a VGrow and you want some drip irrigation, just leave a comment below saying, I have a VGrow, I want a drip, and I'll choose who can get this. Now, this is mine, guys. I'm actually giving this away. I've just ended up with a spare. But yeah, happy to give it away to you guys for all of the support and appreciation of your comments and advice. I do appreciate it. And last but not least, I've actually got a second VGrow. So always on the grow. I've got another VGrow, which means that I'm going to be doing another bean. Now, I haven't set this up yet, but I've already started to kind of get my bean on the go. It's a bean that I picked up at MJ BizCon back in December 2024. It's a Lucky 13 from Exotic Genetics, so stay tuned for that episode. Thanks again, everybody, for all your likes, all your comments, all your feedback, and thanks again, Vivosun, for sponsoring the channel. Bye-bye.